Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Toni Ringgold. I love saying it. I'm so used to saying that. If you can hear me just fine, if you could give me a thumbs up or a comment yes, I would definitely appreciate that. If you could comment yes, that would be awesome. I am super excited about doing this broadcast with you all today. Um, you know, this process of becoming a realtor and learning more about the home buying process has been absolutely amazing for me. I'm going to briefly introduce myself. These glasses have a glare. Briefly introduce myself and kind of tell you a little bit about me, and then we're going to jump right into the topic today. Um, so I often assume on my social media that people know who I am, but now I'm realizing that I have some new friends and some new people on that have we've connected with via social media. And so kind of give you a little bit of history on myself. My name is Toni Ringgold. It's actually Antonia, but I go by Toni. Originally from Austin, Texas, came to this area in 2010 because I got a scholarship to school. um, I am a true entrepreneur, um, meaning I really make my living based off of my entrepreneurial skills. I own a music academy outside of real estate where I teach voice, piano, um, and I also have a wonderful staff that teach an array of different classes, including acting, public speaking, drums, piano as well, and some other amazing vocal coaches. Um, I became a realtor as a result of COVID 19. I had always wanted to get into real estate, and had always had plans on it. But when the world shut down, it gave me an opportunity to do something that I really, really love. I've always been interested in. I love houses, I love homes, and I've always been interested in the home buying process. And I've always wanted to be a realtor, probably since I was maybe 12 years old. That fun fact, that was my first major in Austin Community College in 2004, 2000. Gosh, a little old. Anyway, that was my first major, and I they offered the course for community college students to become a licensed real estate agent at that time. And of course, being young and not really knowing what I wanted to do, I kind of bumped around until I fell into my first love, which is music. But overall, I just love making people smile, and I love helping others. I love watching people grow, and being a realtor goes hand in hand with that. Um, as your realtor, I'm helping you make one of the most important purchases of your life, and that's purchasing a home. And it's not something that I take lightly. Yes, I am a new realtor, but I have helped several clients get into their homes, and I am looking to help more as we go into 2021. There are many questions that I get inboxes on, and so what I wanted to do today is to take some time. I know that a lot of you may be working right now and you may be busy, and that's completely fine. I'm going to keep this live video up because what I want to do is allow you to be able to come back and watch this video later. Um, Again, as I said, I do get a lot of inboxes from people asking questions about the home buying process. Um, it does take a few things to qualify for a home, and there are also, there are financial things that you do have to be prepared for, financial situations, expenses, and things of that nature that you should be prepared for when purchasing your home. We are in a different market than we were, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, heck, even 2 years ago. The real estate market constantly moves, it constantly changes. And right now we're in what's called the seller's market. This means anyone who's selling a home, you are at quite an advantage because there is less inventory available for the amount of people that want to purchase a home. This is really why it's so important for you to have a realtor, because you need to have somebody that knows, has expertise in the field, knows how to get it done, and has access to different properties that you may not even have access to. But we'll get into that a little bit later. The first point that I do want to talk about, and I do have notes here because I don't want to miss anything. And again, my information is here at the bottom of the screen. So if you'd like to set up a personal appointment, we can do it right here. We can do it, via StreamYard was what I use, which is like Zoom. Or you could come into the office. We do practice social distancing measures and things of that nature as well. But what I want to do is I want to talk about some points here. The first thing we want to talk about is pre-qualification. So, in order to purchase a home, you have to be pre-qualified or qualified to purchase it. It's not enough to have the money for the down payment. It's not enough even to be eligible to use your VA loan for some of our veterans or some of our active duty soldiers. It it really is, you really do have to qualify for a home. And so some of the things that our lenders are going to look at. Now, keep in mind, I'm a realtor. I'm not a lender. The information that I'm going to give you is basic information, but everybody is different. I wouldn't be able to look at your financials, but what I would do is get you over to some qualified lenders, one of which who happens to be in our office with First Community Mortgage, Ms. Sid West. We also have some other lenders that we work with as well. If your credit score is a little bit lower, then our preferred lender is available. So our preferred lender would like for you to be at a certain credit score. If you're not there, you kind of fall below it. We have some other lenders that are great that we work with as well. Well, the things that they look at are, one, your credit score. Credit score is really important. Um, the secondary lender that I work with can take a credit score as low as 580. Um, but most of the time, your lenders would like for you to be at least a 640, sometimes a 660, just depends. The better your credit score is, and the other factors that I'm going to touch on, the better it is for your interest rate, the easier it is for you to qualify. Okay. Another thing that is important is what we call DTI. DTI stands for your debt to income ratio. This talks about the amount of money that you bring in versus the amount of money that you owe. Debt to income ratio talks about your student loans, credit card bills, auto loans, money basically that you owe that you haven't paid off yet. Now, hey, debt is good. Some debt is good. I'll say that. I don't want you to feel like if you have a car note that you can't qualify for a home, because that's just not true. However, if you have a bunch of debt and you're not bringing in an adequate amount of money, it's going to make it harder for you to qualify for that home. Okay. So your debt to income ratio and your credit score go hand in hand in the qualification or pre-qualification for the home. Now, why do we care about your pre-qualification? Pre-qualification is very important because it gives you what is called your buying power. You may want a $250,000 home, but when we look at that DTI and that credit score and that lender gives you a pre-qualification, they're going to give you a true and accurate depiction on what you could really afford at what you're bringing in. Back in, the late 90s, early 2000s, there were a lot of people purchasing homes, or a lot of people purchasing homes at different, you know, they would, the word escapes me at this time, but basically they were giving houses away to people that couldn't afford it. And what ended up happening is there was a big boom of foreclosures. Well, lenders now have to, by law, federal law, they have to make sure that they're giving you an accurate depiction on what you qualify for, so that you don't put yourself in a financial bind and end up losing your home potentially. So you might want that $250,000 home, but you may only qualify for a $150,000 home, or you may qualify for a $300,000 home. Those factors will be determined by the lender. Now, if me and you were to sit down and have a conversation and I become your realtor, then I have some great lenders that I would love to set you up with. Like I said, our preferred lender who works right here in the Shine Team building, through First Community Mortgages in West and Macy Sales, they are amazing. They like your credit score to be at least a 640 or above. However, my friend over at two other secondary places. When I say secondary, doesn't mean that they're less than our preferred lender. It just means that these are the people that I'll bring you to if your score wasn't at 640. They are awesome and they can work with the score as low as 580. Keep in mind, the lower the score, the higher the interest rate. Now, the good news is the interest rates right now are really low. They're at an all-time low, to be exact. And so even though your interest rate may be higher at that 580 rate, it's going to be a lot lower than it would normally be if you were to purchase a home, just because of the current market that we're in. Now, there are different types of loans. You have your conventional loan, you have your FHA loan, and your VA loan. The loan that I work with most is the VA loan because we live in a military area. The VA loan is fantastic. Low interest rates, zero down payments. It's really, really good. There are a couple of things that I want to point out and I want to talk to you about that goes right along with the FHA conventional, but especially for people that are using their VA loans, you want to have this information. Um, and so, let me see. Okay, hey Diesel Greasel, I will let you know about that as soon as I'm done with this live. Um, so again, you have your conventional, your FHA, and your VA loan. Now, again, we work primarily with VA loans, but of course we work with FHA and conventional as well. When you use the VA loan, a lot of people think they see that zero down and they're thinking that they're not going to have to come out of pocket for anything. It's not necessarily true. While you don't have a down payment, which usually, like for an FHA loan, it's usually around 3.5%. For a conventional loan, it can go up higher than that. There are other factors that you do have to consider and other expenses that you do have to consider when purchasing a home. So I'm going to switch up a little bit with my notes and I'm going to bring the next part up because I do want to talk briefly about the costs that you're going to have to spend, money that you're going to have to spend, things that are inevitable when purchasing a home. Now, earnest money. This particular expense is one that is not avoidable, but it's an expense that is used to help you in the end. Say we've already gotten to the point to where you're pre-qualified and now you're at the point where you found a home that you love and you want to submit an offer. Pre-qualification is very important because without it, the listers or the listing agents and the sellers of the home, they're not going to even take you serious because they don't even know if you're pre-qualified to purchase the home in the first place. So whenever I submit an offer, I always include a pre-qualification letter. That's the first step in the home buying process. After which, when we find that home that we really like, and you're like, you know what, Toni, this is the one, then it's time to go through the offer process. And I'm not going to go all the way in it because my job is to make sure that we get that done. But if you are a client of mine, trust me, we're going to make sure that you are taken care of very well. The earnest money is money that basically it's put forth in good faith that you are serious about purchasing this home. Your earnest money is usually right around $1,000 or up to 1% of what that home is selling for. So if you've got a $300,000 home, your earnest money can be $3,000. Sometimes it can be less than that. When we talk about competitive offers, which we'll get into here in a little bit, the competitive offers, you definitely want to sometimes add a little bit more of the earnest money on there to make that offer just a little bit sweeter. But I'm not going to give you all my secret stuff because I know I got some realtors probably looking. Anyway, the earnest money, that is money that you put forth in good faith to say, hey, I'm serious about purchasing this home. The good news is, though, is that that money gets applied to at the end at the closing table. Now, there's a difference between down payments and closing costs. A lot of times, like when I work with my VA loan folks, they say, well, I got zero down. It's supposed to be zero down. Yeah, you might not have a down payment, but we always have closing costs. Now, you can ask the seller to pay for your closing costs, but with this particular market, you might want to have some closing costs because if you have two offers on the table, right? One offer says, "Hey, I using my VA loan, zero down, and I want you, the seller, to pay for all my closing costs." Someone else says, "Hey, I'm using the VA loan, zero down, and I'm going to pay for all of my closing costs." Who do you think the seller is going to go with? Right. So it's important for you to have some money set aside. You need to have some savings. So you're going to have that earnest money. You're also going to want to make sure you have money for your option fee, which is it's not a lot. It's like maybe anywhere from $75 to $125. This option fee is put in place so that you'll have the option, usually around 10 days, to decide whether you want this home or not. During this time is the time where I recommend my clients to go and seek an inspector. Let someone come in and take a look at the home, a licensed inspector to take a look at the home, do a full inspection on it, and make sure it is up to par before you make that purchase. Now, that's something that comes out of your pocket, but it's money well spent. Um, and then, of course, your closing costs. Um, Closing costs vary according to transaction. It has there's so many different variables that goes along with it. So, like for example, when you close, the amount of the home itself, the taxes may be owed on it, if it has a survey or not. There's so many different factors on that. So there's no way to know exactly. I couldn't tell you right now, hey, your closing costs will be this amount of money. What I can say is that our we provide an estimate, and it is an estimate of what we feel your closing costs may be once we find that home and we submit that offer, and the offer is accepted. Also, your lender is going to provide you a much more accurate estimate, and then eventually it tell you exactly what's needed at the closing table. Keep in mind again that earnest money that you used in the beginning will be applied to whatever those closing costs are at the end of the transaction. Um, the current market that we're in right now, I can't stress to you enough, it is definitely a seller's market. It is definitely a market where you may have a home that is listed today, and realtors, we get to use a system called the MLS. This system is only used by real estate agents and brokers. Um, it is not a database that you have access to, but is the most accurate database out there. You can look at Zillow, you can look at Trulia and these other ones all day long, but I guarantee you the information there will not be accurate. There are sometimes homes that are on Zillow saying that they're for sale and they sold 6 months ago. So that's one of the advantages of having a realtor. Another advantage of having a realtor is we do what's called a CMA, which is a competitive market analysis, or some people say complementary market analysis. Basically, is when we find the house that you love, We go and we look at different homes, a certain number of homes that have sold in the last 6 months in the area. And we compare what they're asking for as far as asking price to what has sold in that area. And then we're able to offer advice on the asking price if we feel like, this is good or not. Now, I will tell you this right now. 99%, and these are actual numbers, these are accurate numbers. 99% of the homes in the Central Texas area, that's including Belton, Killeen, Temple, Nolanville, Coppers Cove, Kempner, are selling at the ask rate. Again, 99% of the homes. Most of the time right now, because inventory is low, we go a little bit above the asking price because you want to try to present a competitive offer. Um, as a realtor, it is my job to assist you, to give advice when necessary, to um, prepare contracts, to help to negotiate on your behalf. Um, there are so many wonderful factors when having a realtor. And being, of course, Shine Team, gotta brag a little bit. We are the number one Coldwell Banker agency or team in Texas. We are number 20, I think, in the nation, and number 43 in the world. We pride ourselves on being amazing to our clients and making sure that we do what we need to do. We actually go the extra mile, and we have what's called the Shine Team Guarantee. And if you ever come in and we sit down and meet, I'll talk to you a little bit more about that. Um, again, uh, talking about making offers, when you make an offer on a home that you love, we want to make sure that that offer is strong. We want to make sure that we offer our highest and best, do what we can in the beginning to make us a contender. See, me, I'm real competitive. I'm a bulldog when it comes to things like this. So I'm going to make sure that, hey, I might be up at 2 or 3 in the morning making sure that offer is in, but we're going to get it in and we're going to make sure that we do what we need to do to try to get you that home that you desire. Uh, if you say, "Hey, Toni, I want to purchase a home. I want more information, but I'm not so comfortable about coming into the office," that is completely okay. We can meet virtually. So, matter of fact, one of my new clients, we actually met last week we met virtually on a platform similar to Zoom. Um, you can easily meet with us that way. We could do phone conversations, email, text. I can also go out to the properties and FaceTime you and take video as well. So just because we are in a pandemic right now doesn't mean anything stops. As a matter of fact, we have had record breaking sales and done extremely well in the midst of the pandemic. Um, so don't let that deter you. If you are really interested in purchasing a home, you can do so. I was hoping that you guys would ask me some questions. I don't really see any here. However, if you want to talk to me one on one, feel free to give me a call at 254-535-7512. You can also go on my website, ToniRinggoldHomes.com. Again, that's ToniRinggoldHomes.com. And you can look at the inventory in this area. No question is a dumb question. You can ask me anything, and I will do my very best to make sure that I give you a quick and accurate answer. I am taking on more clients, got a lot of homes that are closing, and I'm excited to get some other folks sold with Ringgold. Oh, okay, here's a question. Hi, this is from Nikisha Porter. She says, "How do you go about pre qualifying?" Excellent question, Nikisha. Well, what we would do first, Nikisha, is you and I would have a conversation over the phone. Or if you wanted to come into the office, you could. And we would find out a little bit more history on you. At that point, I would determine which lender. I have a couple that I work with that I will send you to. The information that they're most likely going to need is so funny because the thing is like covering my mouth up. But the information that they're most likely going to need, um, they're going to want to see at least 2 years of your tax returns. They're going to get in your business, basically, just like if you were going to qualify for anything else, like if you go and qualify for a car, they're going to ask you some information, and then they're going to run that information, and they can usually tell you in within 24 hours if you qualify for a home or not. So to answer your question, the first step would be you and I would have a conversation. Then I would determine which lender I feel would be best suited for you. I'll ask you a couple of questions like, what's your credit score? Talk a little bit about debt that you owe, savings, what type of loan would you want? I would kind of go over the loans a little bit with you. And then after we talk about that, I would send you over to a lender who I work with personally. These lenders are not somebody I'm just throwing you to. These are people that I could pick up and call on my cell phone in any moment, right? So it's different when you're dealing with someone with an 800 number versus dealing with someone that you work with all the time. These are lenders that I transact with all the time. So we get people qualified and in homes. So I hope that answered your question. Do we have any more questions before I jump off of here? I definitely want to answer questions. But again, if you want to talk to me off the grid, hey, give me a call. My number is running over here, 254-535-7512. Again, that's 254-535-7512. I'll be happy to help you in any way possible. I said that I would talk for about 30 minutes and then I was going to get off of here. And we're getting close to that 30-minute mark. Again, if you're squeamish about coming into the office, we can meet virtually. Everything that we could do, literally, even when it comes to you getting pre-qualified, we can do that through technology. So I don't want you to be squeamish about that. Even when it comes to house hunting, we do practice social distancing measures. We do take separate cars. It used to be that you'll hop in the car with me, but right now we're trying to be safe. So we'll take separate cars. If you don't want to go, I can go to the properties and video you, FaceTime you, and all of that as well. So I am going to get off of here. But I thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I hope this information was valuable for you. And again, if you ever have any questions or if you would like to set up a time for us to talk one on one and see about getting you into that home, don't count yourself out. Even if you don't feel like you're going to qualify, a lot of people that didn't feel like they were qualified have actually qualified. And even if you don't qualify in that moment, it's so important for you to at least try so that you can know what it is that you need to work on so that, hey, 6 months from now, maybe even 3 months from now, maybe even a year from now, you'll be ready to purchase your home. Why rent and make somebody else rich when you can invest in a legacy for yourself and your family? This will be your little slice of heaven that belongs to you and only you. And so I am so excited and happy, and I feel blessed and honored to be able to help people on their home buying journey. I hope this information was very informative for you. And again, if you have any questions or if you ever need to talk and you're looking for a realtor, holla at your girl. Come get started with Ringo. You know what I'm saying? You guys have a wonderful